We're now joined by one of my favorite bankers, favorite people. Lucia DiNapoli Gibbons is the Metro New York, New Jersey Division Executive of Commercial Banking at Wells Fargo. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you too, Steve.
It
the
has
highlight
been
of my
way too
day.
long, but let's do this. You're functioning, you're working, you're getting things done, but my question is this. You and I have talked about leadership for a couple of decades. How challenging is it leading in the banking world these days?
We could change that question to how challenging is it to lead in this COVID environment? You know, Steve, I've read all your books and I've followed all your advice over the years. And, you know, it's about staying connected to people, right? And doing it in different ways. One of the benefits I had was for the last 6 years, I was running a business up and down the East. And certainly I was traveling to see people, but more often than not, I was doing meetings via you know, some type of technology and via the phone. So I'm very, very comfortable with it. So it's about making connections with people more often than not, allowing some space for them to talk about, you know, how they're feeling and how everything that's happening is impacting them. You know me, I love leadership. So it's been great to exercise those skills to help people during this time.
But you also love connecting with people. And that's a big part of who you are and your success. So I'm also curious about this. Dramatically, since let's say for Friday, March 13th, 2020, how has the banking industry changed?
It's interesting. So first, I would say we were making major investments in technology, platforms, and people pre-COVID. All of that is accelerated dramatically because consumers and businesses have really adopted all of those new tools out of necessity. So those investments are accelerating. So I'd say banks are becoming more like technology companies than anything else. The other interesting thing, Steve, is that despite a low to no interest rate environment, banks are awash in deposits right now because the savings rate for both consumers and businesses is up. People are stowing away the rainy day fund, right? Which is a really, really good thing. And then lastly, I would say now more than ever, our customers and prospects need us. They need our insight, our advice, our credit, tools and technology to help them get through this pandemic and hopefully to a much brighter future.
You know, let's do this. First, I want to say that Wells Fargo, one of the significant supporters of what we do, and have been supporting public broadcasting for a long time. But part of that and the commitment to the community goes to this Open for Business Fund. What is the Open for Business Fund and why should the average person care about it, Lucia?
I'm so excited that our company has done this. So the Open for Business Fund was created with the $400 million in fees collected through making PPP loans, right, which are helping businesses get through this pandemic. And right here in New Jersey, we have funded, and I'm going to look down just for a second, it's the Greater Newark Enterprise Corporation for $250,000 and the Union County Economic Development Corporation for $500,000. We're supporting nonprofits that are supporting minority-owned businesses. So I'm excited that we've done that.
Why?
It matters. Listen, in order for our business to thrive, businesses and people have to thrive. And you know this, Steve, small businesses have been so hard hit by what's happened during the course of the past year. We have to do everything we can to make sure that businesses survive and get through and that people survive and get through. Otherwise, what good is our business? We're only as good as the communities that we serve. You know,
along those lines, it's so interesting, Lucia. We've talked to many business leaders, small business, big business, medium-sized business, talk about their struggles, challenges. Philosophical but relevant question. How much do you believe the government is responsible for helping? You talked about what your bank is doing, other banks doing important things as well. Do you believe the government has an important role to help business during these very tough times?
I absolutely believe. I believe everyone has a role. Certainly government has a role. The Paycheck Protection Program was good for small business, and we played a huge role in that. There are companies, though, that are not going to survive, right? Infection rates are spiking again, and consumers and businesses need another injection of funds. some of them, to help survive what's happening. So it would be great to see the government come together and decide on a second stimulus program. I will tell you that from an economic perspective, the forecast that we're making, don't assume that, because it's so uncertain at this point.
Lucia, do not assume that? You do not assume that?
We do not assume that. It's too uncertain at this point. It's too uncertain at this point.
So, 30 seconds left. You used the word uncertainty. What is the impact of the tremendous amount of uncertainty and having to make the business decisions that you and your colleagues have to make every day?
So I would say, I'm going to turn that around and say that businesses really stood in place for a while, given the great uncertainty. We have more certainty now, Steve. We're closer to a vaccine and therapeutics than we've ever been. And we are seeing certain customers that are doing well take advantage of opportunities by making acquisitions, buying real estate, doing those kinds of things if they have the wherewithal to do it, because people are starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But again, there's the have-nots that are not in that place, and they are ensuring that they have liquidity and working with us to ensure that liquidity so that they can get through the other side.
Well said. By the way, I remind folks, as we talk to Lucia, we're taping on the 17th of November. It'll be seen the rest of this year into 2021. So the vaccine, right? That it's safe, that it's accessible, and people get it. Hey, Lucia, it's great seeing you. Next time we'll see each other in person, in a studio, God willing, and we'll talk that way. Thank you, Lucia.
I look forward to it, Steve. Thank you so much.
You got it. We're right back right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, PSC&G, MD Advantage Insurance Company, ADP, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, the North Ward Center, Johnson & Johnson, NJ Best, and by the Adler Aphasia Center. Promotional support provided by CIANJ and Commerce Magazine, and by NJ On Air.
Choosing a new family doctor can be confusing. Check with your health insurer to see which physicians near you participate with your plan. Find out which hospitals the doctor uses and who covers when the doctor is away. And remember to schedule an appointment with your new doctor in advance to fill out any paperwork without the added stress of being sick.